Hey, welcome to a new video. A man in this video was just fishing on a lake when suddenly a pair of wolves appeared near him. They just wandered around and didn't cause the man any trouble. But such a close encounter with these dangerous animals doesn't always end well. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. It's a universally accepted fact that no one wants to hear the following words when walking around the woods. Do you see something moving behind the trees? Because, as you look left and right, there's nothing but miles of green and trees. But as you peer into the bushes between the trees, a pair of black eyes stare back. Trust that the bear has spotted you minutes before you would even notice you were being followed. And the immediate result? Everyone on edge. There's a moment of silence, but suddenly everyone starts running, and the bear gives chase. You know the mother bear will do anything to protect her cubs. The video ends with the people fleeing, and the bear having a change of heart at the last moment, darting into the forest on the other side of the road. Moose are large hoofed animals that are mainly found in the northern parts of Europe, Asia, and North America. Although moose are generally not aggressive towards humans, they can be dangerous in certain situations. They can behave very territorially with their young nearby, or feel threatened. In this video, a moose seems to be terrorizing Yellowstone National Park. A moose can grow up to 5 feet or 1.5 meters long. So it's an animal that you definitely don't want to provoke. In the video, the moose decides to make an enemy out of every car, and people try to stay far away from him. If you think it's a good idea to tease an anaconda, think twice. In fact, the man in this video decided to disturb an anaconda with a stick that was resting peacefully by the water. Anacondas can be quite dangerous. As you can see in the video, the snake attacked, but luckily it stopped there. If there's anything in this video that's taught you anything so far, it's to maintain respectable distance between you and the animal for multiple reasons. At the end of the day, if you want to see another day, remember you're dealing with a wild animal. Also, keep your wits about you. Never turn your back on an animal, especially not a massive moose with natural instincts roaming the forest. So perhaps don't provoke it at all costs, or run. Ears back, raised hackles, head lowered. If you encounter a moose displaying these behaviors, running for the hills might be the best option. If the moose continues to approach, slowly back away while keeping your eyes on the moose. The lesson this hunter learned is that you don't want to anger a moose, as it might come charging after you. Are you familiar with cassowaries? They're the largest birds in Australia, the second largest bird in the world after the ostrich, and also the world's most aggressive bird. They're known for their razor-sharp claws, their prehistoric appearance, and their kick that can send you to the afterlife. Marvin, a 75-year-old man, kept 2 of them as pets. On April 12, 2019, he was entering the cassowary's enclosure, which was on his property, when he fell to the ground. One of the birds didn't hesitate for a second and attacked him. When the police arrived, the animal was still annoyed and tried to attack them through the fence. Rams are pretty stubborn animals, but this man encountered a ram on the road that was extremely aggressive. Rams are also generally not to be trusted. The ram in the video decided not to let the man on the motorcycle pass through. Fortunately, nothing terrible happened, but even in this case, it's better to stay away from angry rams. A group of people were on a wilderness walk in Kruger Park, where they had set up their tents. They started an afternoon walk from their camping spot. Approximately 0.7 miles or 1 kilometer into their walk, they unexpectedly encountered a bull elephant. As the elephant became aware of their presence, he shifted position to observe them. It was crucial for the group to stand still and avoid any sudden movements. Ahead of the elephant's progress, the leader turned their heads and instructed the group repeatedly to stand still and maintain silence. As he began to move closer, the group collectively raised their voices to deter him from coming closer, following standard procedure. Interestingly, the elephant didn't immediately retreat after the initial contact, but instead approached them twice, prompting them to shout louder. Withdrawing at that point could have potentially provoked the elephant to continue with an attack. Later, it became clear why the elephant had approached them. The group was informed that one of their members had attempted to run down to the riverbank, while another had changed positions. It's generally agreed that trophy hunters deserve some kind of revenge after they brought a species to extinction or near extinction. Videos like this prove that you can only pose next to a lion you have hunted for a certain amount of time before the rest of the pride comes looking for him. It's unclear what happens next in this video, but after the lion finds the trophy hunters, the video ends. What do you think happened next? Did the lion take revenge? Kruger National Park is a place with many lions, and they have a habit of resting on the road here. In the next video, we see 17 lions, and most of them are quite young. So if you ever consider driving the H13 and the S126 near Satara and Sweeney Waterhole, there's a good chance you'll encounter these lions. In this thrilling video, an elk hunter from Idaho finds himself stalked by a mountain lion, and the tension is palpable. The man's panicked breathing fills the air as he nervously holds a rifle. quivering it up while the mountain lion slowly approaches him. The mountain lion continues its stealthy approach, creeping toward the man with calculated steps. It gets so close that he suddenly fires a warning shot. Startled, the mountain lion recoils from its intended target. However, primal instincts still linger, and it attempts to resume its stalking behavior, still fixated on the man. Given the looming danger, the man fires another warning shot, creating a deterrent that keeps the mountain lion at bay temporarily. Mountain lions, also known as cougars, are solitary and elusive creatures. They are known for their stealth and ability to stalk their prey with incredible precision. When hunting, mountain lions employ a unique pouncing technique, using their powerful hind legs to propel themselves forward with a swift and agile leap, designed to quickly disable their target. This incident highlights the complex dynamics between humans and mountain lions. Andre was a man coming home from a 2-week vacation. His neighbor saw him getting his things out of the car and noticed that he left some of the luggage in front of the house. He gave it no further thought and decided to call the authorities a few days later after he smelled a foul odor at the house. When the police went inside, they found Andre with several starving dogs around him. We don't know if it was out of revenge or if it was just because they were very hungry. What do you think? It goes without saying that you should never go near a bear, but it seems that 2 bear hunters don't want to follow these rules. At one point, they're chased by a grizzly bear. Fortunately, all turned out fine, but obviously they were in a dangerous situation. In hindsight, there's probably a very good reason why safaris have a guide on how close you can get to certain animals. Even though small hippos may look cuddly, they're not exactly eager to be cuddled. The hippo in this video emerges from the water, accelerates, and chases after a jeep full of tourists. Fortunately, the hippo isn't fast enough and eventually returns to the water. Hippos are massive creatures, with adult males weighing up to 7,700 pounds and standing about 5 feet tall at the shoulder. They have a reputation for being one of the deadliest animals in Africa, responsible for more human deaths on the continent than any other large animal. They are also highly territorial and protective of their personal space. During an attack like the one shown in this video, a hippo typically opens its enormous mouth wide, displaying its formidable teeth. It charges forward with impressive speed, reaching speeds of up to 19 miles per hour on land. The immense force of a hippo attack can be devastating and is capable of overturning boats. In this video, we see a huge tiger shark getting very close. A tiger shark is one of the few sharks that is also a danger to humans. In the video, we see the huge animal approaching, but the man was lucky to escape because he was holding a bird cage between the two of them. Did you know that running away from a bear can trigger their instinct to chase? Bears are faster than humans, and they will certainly outrun you, so running away is not a good option. In this video, we witness a dangerous encounter between a man and a bear. Not just any bear, but an angry mother bear charging towards him. Even though he has a hunting rifle with him, he doesn't want to harm the bear. Mother bears with cubs can become highly defensive and potentially aggressive if they perceive a threat to themselves or their offspring. They are also powerful creatures and vary in size depending on the species. This man from Russia, however, remained calm, and at one point, the bear retreated back into the forest. Some bears, including grizzly bears, can weigh up to 1,500 pounds and grow over 6.5 feet in length. Direct eye contact can be seen as a threat by the bear. So the best thing to do, just like this hunter, is to slowly step backward. On this specific path in Australia, cyclists are warned about the Australian magpie bird. They're a major threat and also have a strategy for attacking people. If you're sitting calmly on your bike, they will attack you or your helmet, whether you provoke them or not. They're even known to chase children on scooters. It's said that magpies focus on specific streets, and most active during the season between August and November. Only 10% attack, but if one attacks you, you're just unlucky. Here we see a video in which a photographer is chased by a huge bison. At first, everything seems fine, but for some reason, the huge bison goes after the man. Fortunately, no one was hurt here, but it's better to not try something like this yourself. The big tip from today's video: don't try to domesticate wild animals, and certainly not bears. A woman named Kellyanne was cleaning a 350-pound or 158-kilogram black bear when the worst happened. Her husband was an animal trader with an expired license, yet the couple kept the black bear, along with 2 servals, a tiger, a jaguar, and a lion on their property. One day, Kelly threw aside the dog food to distract the bear to clean his cage, but the bear struck as soon as she turned her back on him. The inhabitants of one of the villages in India were shocked when a leopard decided to hide on the roof of a house and jumped straight at the people. Fortunately, everyone was safe and the animal was caught by the authorities. The Goliath grouper is a large fish species found in the warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean. These huge fish can grow up to 8 meters long and weigh up to 350 kilograms. In this video, a fisherman caught a small fish when a giant Goliath grouper came out of nowhere and snatched the fish away. They're not known to attack humans, but can be aggressive if provoked or cornered. The Goliath grouper latches onto the hand of the diver, who miraculously manages to get away unscathed. Did you know that hamsters can eat each other? It's a well-known fact, but it's still quite surprising to learn that these little rodents will do the same to you if they're given a choice. A 43-year-old woman who appeared to be completely healthy before the incident discovered her golden hamsters had betrayed her. Her golden hamsters were allowed to wander freely in her home, and one day the woman was found with bite marks all over her. One of the most terrifying things ever said about lions. If you see one stalking you, it's likely been following you for hours. During this group's first safari in Pilanesberg National Park, they learned the hard way not to turn their backs on a lion. They also learned why safari guides always have guns on hand. What you see here is chilling because it demonstrates that lions are not just desperately hungry animals, but creatures capable of hunting you with intelligence and coordination. The lions in this video, as menacing as they appear, seem to have been observing the group of tourists and their guides all day, and were actually more curious. The hunter later mentioned that the lioness might have been protecting her cubs, which was why she behaved this way. The terror caused by a leopard in a small Indian village was unprecedented. On video footage, you can see the leopard wreaking havoc in backyards and on roads. Always remember that leopards are predators and have sharp claws and teeth with which they can defend themselves. The leopard in this video decided to run onto the street and pull an unsuspecting motorcyclist off his bike. Fortunately, another man distracted the leopard, and according to the story, everyone was okay and they managed to catch the leopard. Pythons certainly won't back you up in times of need. An exotic animal lover named Dan had stopped putting his 8-foot or 2.4 meter long African rock python named Tiny around his neck for quite some time. He described the snake as very strong and unpredictable. Still, he considered her his baby. Supposedly, the snake loved him too. But one day, Dan was found by his mother in the room, where the snake had wrapped itself around him. Believe it or not, but there's many baboons in Saudi Arabia, and they're not shy about approaching people to ask for something tasty. Of course, it seems very nice for the tourists, but you also have to keep in mind that they're wild animals and you don't really know what to expect from them. These video recordings were captured by Chris Robinson and showcase a remarkable encounter with a wild boar during a hunt for wild boars. At one point, a wild boar comes charging towards him. Everything was filmed with a thermal camera as the wild boar approached from about 328 feet away. Unfortunately, when a wild boar is rapidly approaching, there's nothing to do except take a shot to deter the boar. But you might be wondering why some people hunt wild boars at all. Well, it's because wild boars cause significant damage every year, leading to substantial financial losses and various forms of harm. Their destructive behavior includes damaging crops, contaminating water sources, damaging equipment, spreading diseases, and posing a threat to livestock. This hunter was in the woods hunting turkeys when he suddenly heard the howling of a wolf in the distance. As he ventured further into the forest, he even came across the wolf at one point. There's also a concerning likelihood that the rest of that wolf pack isn't too far behind. This hunter had made a turkey call to lure turkeys when suddenly a large white wolf appeared just a few meters away. Fortunately, the hunter was dressed in camouflage, and the wolf might have been more focused on catching a turkey for itself than a human. You can see the white wolf at the top of the screen before it runs away. However, it's not very common for wolves to respond to turkey calls from hunters. Wolves are primarily carnivorous and have their own hunting strategies and vocalizations. That's why this hunter was surprised by the interruption. Typically, wolves hunt together to exhaust and bring down their prey. The alpha leader of the pack leads, and they surround the prey and drive it towards other pack members or launch attacks from different angles. In this case, it appeared that the white wolf had gone hunting alone. The last animal you probably think of when you hear that the animal is terrorizing a city is a goat. But this goat was dubbed possessed when it wreaked havoc. Not one soul encountered this stray goat unscathed. People decided to walk away, and some even ran around the car or huddled up. The goat was very angry and out for revenge. Fortunately, goats only attack humans when they feel threatened or scared. What do you think happened to this goat that made it so angry? Being a photographer can sometimes be dangerous work, and this next man taking photos of moose ended up being chased by an animal. It's unclear what the animal's intentions were, but it looks like it was just playing with the photographer. Witness the incredible footage of Neil Hunt using unconventional methods to catch a wild badger. Armed with nothing more than gloves, a sheet, and a dog kennel, Neil eventually succeeds in capturing the elusive animal. Did you know that the American badger is infamous for generally being a nuisance? The presence of badgers in a farmer's field posed a significant threat to both the farmer and his equipment. With their exceptional digging ability, badgers create extensive networks of burrows and tunnels that can damage crops and machinery. Recognizing the potential harm that the badger could cause, Neil made the decision to relocate the animal while ensuring its safety and well-being. Specifically, American badgers have a feared reputation due to their aggressive nature and formidable defensive capabilities. These solitary carnivores have a stocky build, powerful jaws, and long, sharp claws, making them adept at digging and hunting small prey. However, when challenged or threatened, badgers can defend themselves with remarkable determination. Their reputation as formidable opponents extends to encounters with larger predators as well. Despite their relatively small size, badgers are known to hold their ground and fiercely resist animals like coyotes, lions, or even bears if necessary. It turns out that llamas are also capable of such heinous acts, but this one is 100% believed to have been an accident. A beloved llama named Baby Doll was a little too excited to see her owner, Florence. The llama raced over to greet her when she came home. As she stood on the wet sidewalk, she fell to the ground. In this case, the llama had nothing to eat for several weeks, until the authorities finally arrived at the house and found the woman. What could be more dangerous than hungry lions? Well, lions trying to invade your tent in order to eat you. In this video, we see campers who were surrounded by these dangerous animals at night. Hopefully no one got hurt. Want to test someone's courage? Although it's unlikely to happen, observe how they react when an elephant comes charging towards them. These experienced guides, however, stood their ground. The only thing separating them from being trampled by an African elephant was a firearm. Despite the clear intention of the elephant to intimidate or harm them, they reacted in a way that made the elephant rejoin the herd. Elephant charges occur when elephants feel threatened, stressed, or perceive a potential danger to themselves or their group. While these charges can be terrifying, it's important to note that they are often meant to intimidate rather than cause actual harm. And park rangers or hunters are aware of this, which is why they remain calm when such a situation arises. Although it's known that humans share 99% of our DNA with apes, it's probably best not to give them certain objects, especially not a weapon like an AK-47. Monkeys are particularly intelligent and have the ability to learn, problem solve, and communicate with others. In this video, an African soldier gives a monkey a gun, and he probably shouldn't have done that. However, some people in the comments pointed out that the video was a publicity stunt for the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes. But imagine if this video had been real. It would have been the ultimate revenge of the monkey. Normally, kangaroos are very friendly animals, until they feel threatened. Also, if you want to tease them, that's a bad idea, because they have strong legs and super sharp claws. Don't forget, they can also do a little boxing. Bears may look cuddly, but if you're not careful, they can be one of the most dangerous animals in the world. In this video, a mother bear was ready to charge a group of people, but luckily, a park ranger had bear spray with him. This incident occurred in Yellowstone National Park, where many bears reside, and park rangers are there to keep the area safe. Park rangers use bear spray because it's a specialized deterrent designed to deter aggressive bears. It's a highly concentrated and pressurized spray that typically contains capsaicin derived from hot peppers. When deployed correctly, bear spray creates a cloud of fine droplets that can deter a charging bear. When a bear attacks, it's usually a defensive response rather than an aggressive one. In such situations, bear spray can be an effective tool to deter the bear and prevent physical harm to both humans and bears. It's not entirely clear in the video whether the tiger wants to attack humans or the elephant. But when you're on a safari and come across a tiger, most people will feel panic. Most people wouldn't even have noticed the lounging tiger in this video. There is a saying that if you see a tiger in the forest following you, it's probably been watching you for 2 hours. Fortunately, the guides and the elephant reacted quickly enough, as the tiger decided to back off and disappear into the bushes. Magpies are not really dangerous birds, but in some areas, they attack people who are cycling. In this video, a cyclist encounters a magpie in New Lambton, Australia, an area where aggressive magpies regularly fly around. So you definitely need to be careful, because you could also be distracted on the road. Believe it or not, this group of people had zero intentions of being chased by a gigantic giraffe when they woke up this morning. You could almost liken it to a twisted version of the Madagascar animated movie. You tend to think of giraffes as these big friendly creatures, despite coming closest in size to a dinosaur. However, giraffes can run after vehicles out of curiosity, territorial behavior, or if they are disturbed by a sound. but they are generally peaceful animals and not known for their aggressiveness. There can be exceptional circumstances, though, that may lead to more aggressive or defensive behavior in a giraffe. Like many other animals, giraffes can become protective of their young. If a jeep or another vehicle gets too close to a mother giraffe and her calf, she may perceive it as a threat and act defensively. In such cases, she may display aggressive behavior in an attempt to protect her offspring. Or during the mating season, male giraffes can become territorial and more aggressive. If you ever decide to go to Mozambique, be careful, because you can encounter a South African python literally everywhere. A group of friends on their way came across a large snake blocking the path, forcing them to stop unexpectedly. Although most cats are very gentle, they can exhibit territorial, defensive, and fearful behavior that can cause them to attack. One story tells of a 74-year-old man named Herbert who passed away from a heart attack in his apartment. His 96-year-old mother lived in the same apartment and depended on her son for care, and she passed away a few days later from dehydration. The two had dozens of cats who ran out of food, so they decided to nibble on their owners. The same thing happened to a woman named Janet, whose neighbors contacted authorities after not seeing her for quite a while. After weeks of not being fed, her cats made her their next meal. Rhinos are known for their huge horns, and you better not get in their way. People in this video were having fun in Zimbabwe, but suddenly a rhino started its attack. Fortunately, the animal decided to turn away and no one was hurt. Imagine this: you are in the middle of nowhere with your dog, and suddenly you are being chased by a wild boar. Let's take a moment to praise the bravery of this dog, which consistently held its ground. The dog barked and showed the wild boar who was boss. However, we never know how a wild boar might react, as they can be quite unpredictable. Dogs trained to hunt or track wild boars are often referred to as boar hunting dogs. These specially trained dogs play a crucial role in controlling and managing wild boar populations, which can be invasive and destructive in certain areas. Different breeds are used for boar hunting depending on the specific requirements and preferences of the trainer. In this video, the dog managed to keep the wild boar at bay, although the wild boar did seem to show interest. Popular breeds known for boar hunting include the Catahoula leopard dog, the black-mouthed cur, and the American bulldog. These breeds are often selected for their tenacity, endurance, intelligence, and tracking abilities. Ostriches are not animals that can be considered the most dangerous in the world, but if you're being chased by them, you better run as fast as you can. They're huge and have very strong beaks and legs. And yes, you can see this in this video. And yes, you can see in this video that they're super fast. We already know that the octopus is one of the most intelligent animals on Earth, but did you know that they are known to sometimes attack divers? Although they're generally not aggressive towards humans, they can see divers as a threat or to protect their territory. In this video, the octopus clung to the man in his breathing apparatus. This can be a very scary experience as a diver, as octopuses have strong tentacles with suction cups. It was difficult for the diver to shake off the octopus, but he had to sacrifice his expensive camera for it. Would you have left your equipment behind if you were in his place? Let me know in the comments. Of all the animals that could eat you, a deer probably doesn't come to mind first, although these are wild animals that you should definitely watch out for. This next story is about a 67-year-old man. He was found in the same enclosure where he kept a European red deer, an animal known for its powerful horns. It turned out that the deer had pinned the man against the fence before he struck. The Harrison County Sheriff's Department advised to his neighbors, don't try to tame wild animals. It just won't work. If an alligator approaches you too close, you'd better run, because they're known to attack out of nowhere. In this video, you can see how a man is terrified because he's being chased by a very dangerous alligator. It's probably better to not boat in a river where such predators are present. Hippos are not pets. The fact that they are responsible for more victims than sharks, lions, and wolves speaks for itself. Marius Els was a 40-year-old man who had served in the military and adopted a hippo when it was only 5 months old. He named the hippo Humphrey and called the animal a gentle giant, despite having chased people up a tree before. Several times his wife expressed concern about Humphrey, but the owner had no problem swimming with the hippo. He ignored all warnings that hippos could not be tamed, until the disastrous day arrived when the 1.2-ton hippo attacked him in the same river from which the man had rescued him years ago. Chrissy Teigen is known for being a controversial personality on the internet, but she shocked everyone when she uploaded a video with her daughter having a dangerous tarantula hawk on her arm. They were on vacation in Bali, and in case you didn't know, a tarantula hawk can be very dangerous and has one of the most painful stings in the world. Fortunately, nothing bad happened. This next incident took place in Florida when a man was out duck hunting and narrowly escaped an alligator that was swimming nearby. It's highly likely that the alligator's intention weren't pure, and were more likely driven by hunger, but the outcome is the same. However, he remained calm and managed to drive the alligator away by firing a warning shot. Duck hunting is a popular and widely practiced form of hunting. It typically occurs in wetlands, marshes, ponds, lakes, or along coastal areas where ducks congregate. Unfortunately, there's also areas where more than just ducks reside. Hunters often use duck calls, specially designed devices to mimic duck sounds. These calls can imitate various duck vocalizations, such as quacking, feeding calls, or mating calls. By effectively using the calls, hunters can lure ducks to their location. Perhaps the alligator heard the call, or maybe the man inadvertently entered the alligator's habitat. A Komodo dragon is the largest living lizard in the world and can grow up to 3 meters long and weigh up to 70 kilograms. They're often called the last of the dinosaurs. Fortunately, they are only found on a few islands in Indonesia, including Komodo Island. In this next video, the BBC was making a documentary about the Komodo dragon, and during filming, they were chased by the reptile. A group of Komodo dragons gathered around them and cornered them. The TV crew had no choice but to back away, because although it rarely happens, a Komodo dragon can attack a human. Usually their diet consists of deer, water buffalo, and wild boar that they catch with their sharp claws and teeth. In addition, their saliva contains a deadly venom, which you should definitely watch out for. When the police arrived at Ronald Huff's house, they heard things moving inside, but no one answered. What they found inside the house was a scene that will disgust even fans of horror movies. When the police forcibly broke down the door, they encountered 7 giant Nile dragons wandering free. There was also a foul smell, and Ronald was lying on the floor. One of the monitor lizards allegedly hissed at the officers, covered in a certain liquid. According to the story, Ronald tried to escape, but was no match for these poisonous animals. Elephants are the largest land animals in the world. An encounter with an elephant in Thailand is not uncommon, but when they get too close, it can be scary. Worst of all, if the elephant sees you as a threat, you can easily be trampled. In this video, we see a hunter who had set traps to catch coyotes, but when he went to check, he found a bobcat caught in his trap. The bobcat, also known as the red lynx, is a wild cat that inhabits Canada. You'll rarely come across them because they're typically very shy around humans and prefer to stay hidden. However, this man encountered one, and while trying to free it, he was scratched in the process. Bobcats are medium-sized wild cats that are well adapted to various habitats, including deserts, suburbs, and forests. After the man eventually freed the bobcat, the cat remained on the ground while the man retreated towards his jeep. The wild animal displayed disconcerting intelligence by attempting to hide under the jeep, staying there until the man started the jeep's engine. At that moment, the animal quickly sprinted away and disappeared into the wilderness. If you ever face a bobcat, be aware that they can exhibit defensive behaviors such as hissing, growling, or even striking with their sharp claws. If there's one thing that everyone can agree on, it's that you shouldn't mess with lions. These next people were on a safari trip and came across a lion that seemed interested in their car. Lions are known to have incredible courage. The lion began exploring the car when the man known as the Lion Whisperer arrived and helped the couple inside the car. Kevin Richardson, as the man's called, is a YouTube personality, known for his unique approach to working with lions and other big cats. He told the couple to put their car in reverse and drive away. However, multiple lions decided to chase after the car. The shelter had a hard time convincing people to adopt the pugs Harry and Sally. But what is the reason behind this? It's not because they weren't cute enough, but their previous owners suddenly passed away and was found in their apartment only weeks later. The dogs ran out of food at one point and began feeding on their owner's body. Experts say the dogs seemed unaffected by the incident and probably had no long-term effects. Still, this story made it difficult for other people to adopt the dogs. Capercaillie birds are not really dangerous, but you can see that a man in this video is a bit confused because the bird decided to sit on his head in the middle of a forest. It's unclear why the bird did this. As soon as the man starts to move, the bird attacks him a few times. It looks pretty painful. What do you think? There are times when people deserve an animal to take revenge, but this black cat had found herself in an impossible place surrounded by water, and didn't even want to be rescued. The Royal National Lifeboat Institution found this kitten stranded on the banks of the River Thames in London. The first attempt to rescue this hissing cat went terribly. Claws came out and the cat was panicking in circles. When the rescuers tried again, it worked out eventually. They brought the cat to the mainland where it ran off to freedom again. Usually, camels aren't dangerous animals, but they can kick very hard if you irritate them. But this next story is quite strange. One day, a man named Noel came home and found his daughter cooking dinner. His wife Pam was spending time with a camel that Noel had given her for her 60th birthday. When the husband went to check on his wife and the camel, he found her on the ground. It's believed that the 330-pound or 150-kilogram camel had probably overpowered the woman. When we go to a zoo, we expect it to be a safe trip, especially if we go there with the kids. But it seems that in this video, a huge hippo decided to say hello to the humans. You can see how shocked everyone is. This isn't surprising, because the hippo's huge and they're known to be quite dangerous. This park ranger realized that a bear was lurking near the forest and protected everyone in its vicinity, including the bear itself. He managed to send the bear back into the woods, with just a few warning shots fired into the air. In case you didn't know, grizzly bears are among the largest land-dwelling carnivores. Adult males can reach heights of up to 7 to 10 feet, or 2.1 to 3 meters when standing on their hind legs. Additionally, they weigh between 400 and 1,500 pounds. When grizzly bears are injured, they exhibit signs of limping or discomfort through vocalizations or defensive postures. It's unclear what the grizzly bear in this video exactly had in mind, but fortunately, the park ranger had been able to send it back into the forest. Bears can become very defensive and unpredictable, especially if they perceive a threat to their well-being or feel cornered. Grizzly bears are known for their ability to charge quickly and quite powerfully. During a defensive attack, a grizzly bear as seen in this video may run toward the perceived threat, engage in a bluff charge, or even back off if the threat retreats. Bears are powerful and potentially dangerous animals that can attack humans under certain circumstances. However, this depends on the species, size, and environment in which the bear finds itself. In this next video, a group of hunters are traveling on a boat when they come across some bear cubs. At first, nothing seems to happen, but then suddenly they see an angry mother bear charging towards the boat. The mother bear thought her cubs were in danger and saw the hunters as a threat. One of the men fired a warning shot, causing the bear to retreat. Could you imagine what would have happened if the hunter hadn't reacted quickly enough? Fortunately, everything was okay. The next story comes from a 30-year-old German named Mark Vogel, who had more than 200 pet spiders. One of his most dangerous was a black widow spider, which first bit the man's arm. When police finally arrived, they discovered that other tarantulas, lizards, and snakes had all escaped from their cages and were swarming around the man. Police described it as a scene from a horror movie. Cheetahs are super fast and quite dangerous, so you don't really want to get close to them. Some people like exciting moments, and here we have a video where these big cats came dangerously close. It may look cute when one of the cheetahs puts a paw on a tourist's hand, but let's not forget that these animals have claws and huge teeth. If you're going on a safari, the number one animal you might want to see and be cautious of is a lion. But who wouldn't want to witness a majestic lion or hear its intimidating roar? If you encounter an angry lion, stay calm, avoid eye contact, don't run, and make yourself as big as possible. Also slowly back away while protecting your face and neck in case of an attack, and call for help if others are nearby. Fortunately, in this video, it was just a bluff charge by the lioness, and the safari group was at a safe distance. The behavior exhibited by the lioness is known as an intimidation display. By puffing up her chest and assuming an aggressive posture, she might have been attempting to intimidate the approaching safari group. The display is a way for the lions to establish dominance and confirm their presence, indicating that they should be regarded as a potential threat. The lioness may have exhibited protective behavior if she felt her cubs or territory were being encroached upon. No one teaches you that geese, while cute, can be a general threat when they decide to be. The goose in this video made it its life mission to ruin this poor man's day. Why the goose did this is unclear, but time and time again, the goose comes at him with determination. You wouldn't think that geese could be so dangerous, but they can be quite aggressive and attack you. Whether you're on the golf course, in a park, or near a pond, when a goose comes at you, it's best to leave all your belongings behind and run away. Don't you feel sorry for the man who's just walking to work and encounters an irritated goose? Cynthia Lee Gamble was an expert in wild animals. She raised wolves, coyotes, foxes, and tigers, but only the latter animal proved vengeful. It's been said that if you pit a tiger against a lion, the tiger will prevail. One day, the 500-pound or 225-kilogram Bengal tiger decided to attack its owner, and from then on, didn't let go until it was too late. Surfing can be very fun too. However, there are places on Earth where you have to watch out for sharks. In this video, we see the moment of a shark biting into the man's surfboard. All this he managed to capture on camera. Fortunately, the man survived, and the shark swam away, but the shark came dangerously close. In this video, we see some safari tourists embarking on an adventurous journey to observe wild animals in their natural habitat. Usually, this is done under the guidance of a guide who helps them locate and understand the local flora and fauna. They're studying the elephant. and the elephant is studying them back. However, suddenly the elephant seems to want to charge, prompting the guide to remain calm and make no sudden movements or sounds. When an elephant charges, it can run towards a perceived threat, often with ears outstretched and the head and trunk held high. Charging behavior can vary in intensity, ranging from mere bluff charges to full-fledged physical attacks. In this case, it seemed more like a bluff charge, and everyone in the video appears to be fine after the elephant walks away. Elephants commonly employ bluff charges, which are displays of aggression without necessarily intending to follow through with the attack. By making themselves appear larger and more impressive, they attempt to assert dominance and deter potential adversaries. Elephants don't need to remind you who's the boss of the land animals, but sometimes they do. This next incident took place in the heart of South Africa's Kruger National Park, when a group of tourists and their guide were following a herd of 22 African elephants. There's nothing quite like the instinctual panic that sets in when such a large animal charges at you. Although it seemed to be just a warning from the elephant, it must have been quite a terrifying moment if you were in the safari jeep. Fortunately, everything turned out okay. The next incident was referred to as very strange by authorities. Terry Vance Garner was a 69-year-old man who owned a farm near the coast of Oregon, USA. On a normal Wednesday, he went to feed his pigs, some of which weighed more than 700 pounds or 320 kilograms. According to the story, he fell to the ground, possibly knocked over by one of the pigs. It's thought that he had passed out because the pigs saw Terry as their next meal. Silverback gorillas are huge, and they can be dangerous, especially if they feel they have to protect their young. This group of tourists were lucky enough to encounter this huge gorilla without getting hurt. The animal just stood there while the group froze in one position, so not to provoke aggression. This hunter was out bear hunting in northern Alberta, Canada, when a bear came remarkably close at one point. When we think of bears, we tend to imagine them as large enough to take on a lion. But ideally, we observe these wild animals from a distance or from the comfort of our safari jeep. However, this hunter decided to calmly lie on the ground as the bear approached, only to back away later. Could you imagine encountering a black bear like this in the wild? Lying on your stomach in the middle of nowhere with no one around, and the bear showing just as much curiosity about you? The hunter retreated when he realized he wasn't dealing with a full-grown bear. Even if the hunter attempted to shoot his gun at a close range, there's always the possibility that it might not have incapacitated the bear. It might have just angered it, and the bear would have a clear path to trample this man. Have you ever had a close encounter with a wild animal? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.